Next one, also a need for disclosure. Okay, and this one is less interested in pursuing info. Now, if you have, this one looks in terms of attitude. If you have a high attitude of something, your interest in pursuing something or your interest in obtaining that knowledge becomes reduced. You don't really care much. Do you remember the first time you owned a car? You are so, excited. Your attitude to it is that you want to absorb as much information as possible about that car, okay? The tires, the sports rims, and so on. But after that, once your attitude is formed about this car, towards this car, you are less likely to pursue more knowledge about this car. So you will have a rather flat feeling, a rather flat attitude towards the car. Yeah? People with no attitude, once they get activation event, that would activate them, they would have a very high interest, and before they form a rather stable attitude towards that thing. Now, some of the terms that it's good for you to know. The first one is social adjustment. Social adjustments means we be friends with those like us, okay? We don't be friends with those that are not like us, okay? And that's why they say singer in an advertisement, it plays a huge role because they serve as a role model. Yeah. Next one is externalization. Now, externalization, just now we learned about that. Let's say we hate golfing, we would blame it on it's not fun. Okay, we externalized it. Now, how do you measure attitude? Is it measurable? In social psychology, you need to be able to measure your variables. Yeah. You can have two-way questionnaire. The first one is self-reported, meaning you report yourself. You ask your participants to write down the answers. The second is the covert measures, which is observation. You observe people's and then you tick on that thing, okay? Now, these two, which one is better? There are different results regard of this. Some people support self-reports. Some people support covert. People support covert because they say it's important. Some people, they support covert because they emphasize on social self. They emphasize on how the person is being portrayed in the society. Some people, they support self-reported questionnaire because they believe that no one understands you better than yourself. Yeah? So an example of covert measures is facial electromyograph, which is the EMG. So you look at different pictures of faces, and then you will come to conclusion. What would you write? Sad, angry, agitated, disappointed. Yeah. Now the two types, another two types is you can have explicit measure. Explicit measure hereby it means you ask the subject to think and report an attitude. It goes through thinking and evaluation. Next one, the implicit measures means you assess the attitude without directly asking. You don't have to ask. Yeah. Next one is the model of attitudes and behavior. There are four famous models. The first model is theory of reason action. Second one, theory of planned behavior. The third one is your mode model. And the fourth one is your composite model. Now, the theory of reason action, it means you predict, design, and planned behavior. Now, you look at your attitude and your behavior. Now, you just ask the person if the person intends to do it. Example, smoking. So the first question will come to the person's mind is that, is it proper thing to do? It might be proper because the surrounding has people with smokers, or it's not proper because the parents just abhor it, just hate it. Okay? And the second, attitude towards the behavior. Does the person has the intention to do it? Yeah? That shows an attitude. Or attitude can be explained by attitude. You multiply by expectancy, how likely, versus, and also multiply by the value for a consequence. What is the value? Is it a high value? Of course, if you are surrounded by smokers, your value is high because you are appreciated by them. For sure, your attitude towards smoking is good. But imagine you're smoking in a principal's office or your boss's office, okay? I'm sure your value to that is really low, okay? And that would affect your attitude, to whether you smoke. Next one is your subjective norms, means how significant others view the behavior. Your parents' approval. Parents approve, you do it more. Parents do not approve, you don't really do it. Yeah? Next one, B, is the theory of the plane's behavior. This one looks at two important things. The first one is, do you have the resource? Are you able to do that? Some people, they want to do that, but they are just not capable of doing that. Smoking, most adults, I'm sure most adults, they are capable of doing because they have the resource to buy it, okay? And let's say if you talk about a 5-year-old kid, okay? The 5-year-old kid do not have the resource to do it, okay? Because they just do not have enough money. Next one is the opportunity. Do you have the opportunity to do that, okay? One boy, he's going to CC. He has a good attitude towards CC. By the way, CC means a cyber cafe. Yeah, his attitude comes because he has the resource, meaning people pay for him, and also opportunity. People invited him to do that. His attitude towards CC is rather good because there are games for him to play rather than in the house. Now, perceived confidence, your self-esteem is also important. Sometimes you do not have the resource or the opportunities, but a good high self-esteem would actually affect how you behaved. And also, another one is that stability over time. Attitude is rather stable over time. Also, there is a direct effect on the behavior. The MODE model, it looks at MODE. Now, M meaning motivation, O meaning opportunity, and DE means determinants. This one, it looks at two. First is motivation. The second one is opportunity. Motivation is very important. Yeah, what makes a person tick, or what makes a person hit someone, okay, or what makes a person act. This is the motivation. For sure, you get activation around your surrounding that will activate your behavior. Yeah. Or opportunity. Are you given a chance to do that? Some people, they are motivated enough, but they are not given the opportunity because of the surrounding. The environment is just not right to do that. So that's why they do not have that kind of behavior. Now, if it's low, the only attitude can be taken to make spontaneous action. Some people, they make quick action. They do not think thoroughly for 3 days or for 3 minutes before they come up with that action. They just do it, okay? Now, in that case, you cannot use the MODE model because MODE model would require your opportunity and also your motivation. So in this case, you can only focus on your attitude, just by your attitude. Composite model, it looks more on the rounded model. It's more rounded. It is attitude, behavior relation, but between there is some mediating relationship. These are some of them, not all of them, some of them. The first one might be your habit or your attitudes on the target. Target meaning, is it smoking or hitting a snatch theft? Your reward, punishment, approval, disapproval, your self-identity. I think this is a more rounded model. If you say which one is better, this one takes in all. Yeah. I'm sure there are different factors that affect how we changes from our attitude to our behavior. Now, these are some of the things that could influence us to act in such way. Now, just now I was saying that attitudes are rather stable. In fact, that at times attitude can change, but rarely that it change. Yeah, these are called cognitive dissonance. Dissonance hereby